Hey guys, welcome back to Small Talk, small conversations with huge impact. Now exclusively on Spotify, powered by Anchor. If you want to start a podcast like this one, go ahead and check out anchor.fm. And before anything else, I would like to greet each and every one of you. Welcome to the show. If this is your first time, then I hope that you enjoyed this episode. And if you do, go ahead and check out the other amazing episodes that we have here. And if you are an avid listener of the podcast, continue sharing it on your social media platforms. It helps the podcast a lot. And so I just want to also say that I'm really grateful for each and every single one of you clicking on this episode right now. It means that you are invested in self improvement, in becoming better so that you can make better decisions for yourself and for the people around you. And so before we talk about this topic, I have a few announcements. First is that I'll be having the Podcast Academy Batch 9 on July 2 and 3. If you are interested in learning how to create, grow, and monetize your podcast, come join us. You may register through the link in the description box below or go to bit.ly/podcastacademy9. And also, I will be having my live event, a workshop on developing your self-awareness and how to shift from having a scarcity mindset to a growth mindset this June 26th, Sunday in Makati City. So if you are in the metro, if you can go there, come join us. I'm sure it's going to be so much fun. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to meet a lot of people. And more importantly, you are, one step closer in becoming the version that you want to be. So hopefully I can see you there. And for this episode, we are going to talk about, I think, one of the biggest problems that people come across to. Whether you're starting or whether you're already in the process, this is an issue for most people like us who really just wants to get better, who's looking for different ways for growth, for development. And I'm not spared by this. I also experienced this. And this phenomenon is called imposter syndrome. If you don't know what imposter syndrome is, it's basically the feeling that you are a fraud, that you are an imposter. And someone, you're scared, you have this fear, you have this worry that someone might expose you for being an imposter. So you feel like you're not enough, right? You feel like you're not capable of doing the things that you want to do. You are seeing or saying this dialogue inside your head that, but there's a lot of people who are better than me. I don't have the experience enough. I'm not good enough, right? And so wherever we are in the process, we still experience that. I remember a couple of weeks back, before I started really devoting my time and energy in writing this new book. By the way, I'm writing a book. If you want to get first dibs on that, go to bit.ly/Alec Cuenca BOOKS Waitlist so you could get first dibs on that. But I'm writing a book. And so in this process, when I decided that, I didn't want to do it. Why? It's because I've never written a book before. And so what makes me a good enough person so that I could write a book? I've never written a book. I've never attended a class or a workshop on how to write a book. And so I started to doubt myself. I started to have this worry or feel now, okay, maybe I'm not the best person to write a book. Right? And even though I've written newsletters for the past year, and even though I know that I've been constantly writing my thoughts in the internet and people love it, I still feel like an imposter. I feel like someone would say, "No, that's wrong. You shouldn't." Someone might disagree with me. Someone might tell me that my work is shit. My work is not that good. So I feel like I can't do that, right? I cannot do it. And so not only that, especially in the beginning, if you're a starter, you're very vulnerable in experiencing imposter syndrome, right? Why? Because you don't have anything to show for it. I mean, if you want to start a podcast, you might look at yourself and see that you don't have what it takes, because when you look at the people who have already done it, you'd be thinking, I'm not like them, right? But it's crazy how we compare ourselves, our chapter 1, with someone else's chapter 10. It's crazy how we compare our level 1s to someone's level 25, level 30. But we're human. It's okay. It's something that we all go through. Even like the Titans, they experience this thing. And so when dealing with imposter syndrome, I came across an amazing idea by one of the best people that I've met in my life. And she gave this advice to me. And this method in trying to deal with your imposter syndrome, I'm not really aware of where this actually came from, but basically, I kind of adjusted it on how I could help that, or how this concept would help myself. And so I'm going to share it with you guys on how I deal with imposter syndrome with that kind of method. And I'm not the owner of this idea. I'm just saying. And so how I deal with imposter syndrome is I think about three things. Okay, think of a triangle, and in this triangle, you are looking at different aspects. Whether it's like a checklist. If you have this one, then it'll help you become more confident about yourself. And so, what are these three things for you to negate that imposter syndrome? The first one is basically experience. Ask yourself, have you done this before in any way, in any shape, in any form? Have you done this before? And one instance that I've dealt with imposter syndrome is the first time that I talked on stage, right? It's my first ever live event back in the heart healing sessions. And so I went there and I have this fear. You know what? It's my first time public speaking. What if I can't do it? So I have that feeling. But again, I checked, do I have the experience? Have I done this before? And I said, well, technically, yes. For the past year, I've been conducting weekly group coaching sessions, weekly talks on different topics about personal development in my group coaching session called the Better Me Project. So every week, I've been creating talks and I've been talking to people for 1 hour, 2 hours. And so the answer is yes, I've been doing this. I've been using my TikTok account to post 1-minute motivational clips. And I'm like, okay, this is just 60 or 45 clips. I've been doing this. I've been talking to people for the longest time now. And so, do I have the experience? The answer is yes, I do have the experience. So check. The second thing that you need to ask yourself, have you done the research about this? Have you done journaling about this? Have you devoted your time and energy in reading blogs, reading articles, watching YouTube videos, listening to podcasts, asking coaches, asking mentors on the thing that you want to do, right? On the task that you want to complete or to accomplish. And I said, well, yes, I've done my research on my talk. And so, yes, I have that. And I've been asking people around me, how do I, what are some tips that I can get from other people that I can use for my talk? And I really learned, side note, I learned this one by a friend that shared me about anchoring. So when you notice me in my talk, I position myself in 3 places. And so in spaces on the stage, I anchor myself for a specific emotions. For example, when I'm on this side, I'm excited, I'm emphasizing stuff. And when I'm on this side, I'm speaking slower. I'm taking it really seriously. Right? I'm really emphasizing on the point. While on this side, I'm very excited. I'm pumped up. My energy's high. And on this side, I'm a little bit slower. Right? So I position myself on that. And I wouldn't get that advice if I didn't ask any questions. So now it goes back to the point that I did research about it. I did journaling about it. So check. Okay? I check that second thing. And now the third thing that I need to ask myself is, do I have feedback? Do I have feedback? And I've been receiving messages every single day about how my message helped other people. And that's the feedback that I need. And when it comes to feedback, you only need one. You only need one to tell you that, hey, you're actually making good progress. You actually can do this. You actually can make it happen. You're capable of doing this. It's really helpful. It matters. Your work matters. And so when you get one feedback, now you know that it's not just about you. You're not just thinking this. Other people aside from you knows how impactful or how helpful what you're going to do is. And so I ask myself that, do I get feedback? How do I have feedback? And the answer is yes. I do have feedback from my comments, from my messages. And so yes, check. And so I checked off the list. I have experience, I have done my research, and I have feedback. Now, when you check all of those things, it all can conclude the same point. It just includes one point only. That you are capable. You are capable. If I ask myself, can I speak on stage for the first time in my life? The answer is yes. Because I know that I'm not an imposter now. Because I have the experience. I have research about it and I get feedback. So ask yourself those 3 questions. In anything that you want to accomplish, in anything that you want to try, in anything that you feel like you're an imposter, ask yourself, do I have these 3 things? And I think the term just came in my head. It's evidence-based. Oh my gosh. Evidence-based. I'm so sorry. It's at the tip of my tongue, but it's basically evidence-based kind of paradigm or process. So that's how you know that you have evidence for the thing that you want to achieve. And so therefore, you're not an imposter. So Alec, what if I don't have that? What if I only have 2 of them? If you don't have the experience, then what you need to do is to practice. Practice, practice, and practice. If you've, any kind of public presentation, any kind of, when you're trying to be 100%, or you're trying to, do something, 80% of that action, of that task is preparation, and 20% is execution. So how do you prepare? You practice and you practice and you practice. You won't get the experience by waiting for a chance. You make the chance yourself. You create that opportunity for you to practice. And there's so many ways for you to practice what you want to achieve. For example, you want to start content creation, then try it out. If you want to become a public speaker, if you want to become a leader, then try leading one person muna. One person only. Just one person. Maybe 5 people, and then go to 10 people. How? By posting content online. You try it out, you explore, you practice, and you practice, and you practice, and you practice. That's how you get experience. You can't get experience by wishing that, there would be an opportunity for you. You create the opportunity yourself. Sometimes the chance of you having that experience might not come. So you got to position yourself in a place where you can practice it. You can have that experience, whether people help you or not. So practice and practice and practice. Second, if you don't have the research, then what do you need to do? Of course, you need to research. You need to read books. You need to ask questions from your coaches, from your mentors, from people who have already done it. Why? Because success leaves clues. There is not a single story of success that is not traceable on how they did it. Every single person who have experienced success, they have a blueprint for it. Study it, learn about it, and apply that in your life. If you want to have an amazing output, you need to have incredible input. And how do you have that? You research, you ask questions, you connect to people and ask and learn from them. But more importantly, study. That's also a part of the preparation. Okay? And lastly, feedback. You might not have a following. But what I do, sometimes if I get too overwhelmed, I have this inner circle. And this inner circle, or sometimes I call them my fuck-worthy list. If I look at my fuck-worthy list, right? Who do I give a fuck about? Who do I give a damn about? And so if I write, I have like 5 to 10 people that are part of my inner circle. So if I have a decision and I'm doubting myself and I have this fear and this worry that I'm not good enough, that I'm an imposter, I talk to them about it and let them know that, hey guys, I'm having second doubts about this. What do you think? And they would either affirm the doubt or like reaffirm me that, no, Alec, you can actually do this. You've been doing this quite some time now. And here are the results. And here is why. Here is why. And they'll tell you why. So now you got feedback. You don't need feedback from 100 people. You only need feedback from those who matter to you. So ask yourself, who are the people that are part of the fuckworthy list that you got? Or who are these people who you actually care and give a damn about? And ask them, what's their feedback on it? And maybe you'll just break your limiting belief that you are not an imposter. You are amazing. You're capable of doing the thing that you want to do. And you're more than enough. To ask those 3 things. Do you have the experience? Do you have done the research? Have you gotten feedback? And the answers, if the answers are yes, then do it. Just go do it. You don't need to hold yourself back anymore. At this point, it's just you versus you. And if you don't, prepare, practice and practice and practice. Research and research and research. Ask questions, learn more about it, and ask the people that matter to you to help you out. And so that's all for this episode. I hope that you enjoyed this one. If you do, go ahead and check out the other amazing episodes that we have. If you want to share this, and please go share this to people that you love. And also, few seconds of your time. If you like this podcast, any podcast episode that you like here from Small Talk, please give this podcast a 5-star rating on Spotify. It helps the podcast grow so much. It's it literally helps the podcast be recommended to a lot more people. So please give this podcast a 5-star rating on Spotify. And yeah, check out my future events if you want to join that. And yeah, if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, and notes, I love reading your notes. If you have any notes on this podcast, don't forget to share it on your Instagram and tag me at Alec Cuenca. And that's all for this episode. Thank you so much for listening. This is Small Talk, Small Conversations with huge impact, now exclusively on Spotify, powered by Anchor. And again, my name is Alec Cuenca, and I'll talk to you guys next episode. Bye-bye. Cuenca. Talk to you guys next episode. Bye-bye.